The Facebook is on. Waiting on YouTube. My God, I need a makeover. Her plastic surgery. Okay, time to get serious. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody on the live as you're coming in the room, and welcome everybody on the replay. All right, let me get this set up. So today we have the incredible, beautiful, everything. The powers of love are with us. We're going to play a quick intro and then bring them up here. So we'll see you in just a minute. If these shows resonate, please share. How's it going, everybody? We got the powers of love with us, Heather and Jason Michael, Heather Grace and Jason Michael Powers. Everybody knows them. I don't have to introduce them. They're incredible. They're down to earth. They're a little bit salty sometimes, and they're very sweet, right? They're a little bit of everything. So let's get them up here and see what's going on in the world. Front line of the apocalypse, the unveiling in the twin flame or Divine Union Arena, couples, however you want to put it. Let's see. There you go. I can't see you. Hey, what's happening?
There you
Morning,
are.
Todd.
Salty.
Oh my!
That's awesome.
You are a little salty sometimes.
We are. I mean, yeah, of course.
Well, it's
Salty.
like, Jason's licking his hand now. I only do that when I drink tequila.
I'm a salty dog. I'm a salty.
But no, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know? It is a good thing. It's like sometimes, oh God, I woke up late today. You guys are really early over there. I would, I'd still
we
be
woke
getting
up early today.
Yeah. But yes, I'm probably gonna be a little salty. But it's like sometimes I feel like taking oh my God, Todd, behave yourself. But well, for me too, the message is for me too. And that is, we get caught up in what we're doing. We're in the light worker community. We're channeling, we're downloading, we're expressing. And sometimes I want to walk up to myself or a brother or sister and, grab them like this and say, hey, your human is showing.
Totally.
It's okay. It's not even okay. It's absolutely the best part of this whole journey. We are the mission and the prize, So it's
necessary. Else we become unrelatable.
Yeah. So like, let your human show. Let your wild fly. I better behave.
I love how we're starting, man. Oh, let's go.
Jason's cut his hair off. He's been tamed a little bit.
Right.
I had somebody else do it. I couldn't do it.
I had withdrawals when I saw his haircut. I was like, oh my God. I've been on this journey.
I miss my hair, man. I miss it.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be short for
in his older years, when we're sitting on a beach in our house on Hawaii in the water, just overlooking, and we're
there you go.
We each have our own volleyballs called Wilson and May.
We'll look at each other and say, well done.
Oh, that's funny. How y'all been? What's been happening?
Yeah. this COVID thing has like our life got busier than ever.
Really?
Oh my word, busier and more expanded and more opportunity. Like all the things that we had been sewing into and things that we didn't even know were a part of that just kind of all coalesced during this time. And it's been amazing. It's been like very accelerated.
It's kind of, yeah, it's really weird. Like the best way, and the best way, there's just two, I like the word time wave these days, time waves. There's waves that you can catch, and which wave you surfing is going to determine, you know, what you're experiencing. And in the middle of this very interesting incident that's going on the globe, you know, many are experiencing different things. I'm sure you've probably heard it the same way. We're all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat.
Yeah. And
the boat that we're experiencing, you know, has its challenges for sure. And we dip, but for the most part, man, we're super busy and doing what we love, not busy, just being busy, but
like expanding, like alignments, financial, you know, service wise, that are really clear alignments of people that are, you know, we're able to communicate in a higher way with. So it's just, you can feel the resonance of what's happening and see the narrative that's unfolding in it.
Yeah, I think Morgan's experiencing that. We got a message from her. I mean, she just in the last couple of weeks, you know, and she shared, it's like she's just, I think that those of us that have been prepped and purified and trained for this time, you know, we're midwifing the new earth. We're assisting the great awakening that, you know, is happening on many levels. And then there are some levels we're seeing just the, you know, we were talking about grief yesterday. You know, our heart breaks for a lot of our family and friends that, you know, true colors are coming out. And you're like, wow, you're really operating in the fear matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Live and let live.
How are you guys doing?
We're great. I'm just having a blast.
You are.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, we're like you, we eat, drink, and sleep this, you know, we do very similar to, you know, our whole day is about serving and, you know, sharing the experience with each other, our observations, the whole 9 yards. I love what you said about all this alignment, because that is what you call it, the time wave. I mean, it's like, it's like a timeline wave. There we go. And so with it comes all these frequencies of alignment. If you'll just get the F out of the way, you know, and I think we have two obstacles. One obstacle is ourselves, and the other obstacle is this movie we're all watching. Now, is this thing, does it have some literal, you know, aspects to it? Is it real? Nobody even knows what the hell it is. Nobody even knows. But what we do know, this is something that Morgan brought to my attention in our discussion. All of people like you, people like Morgan, I'm not even going to put myself in that category, that have been working on this for 10, 20 years, and including all of the people that are not even in this community. These are the innermost thoughts of everyone in the world said, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. This world is not fair. This world is not right. Something has to change. And in their own way, they've infused that thought, that creative thought, into the grid. And look what we got. We got the best gift we could ever have. Period. It's never going to go back. It's only going to go up from here. And yes, there's suffering, but there was suffering before.
Yeah.
And there'll be suffering again for some people. That's a path they choose. So I'm with you. I'm seeing incredible signs of alignment, but I'm also seeing because the time is here, and like you talked about, this is what you came for. There's a certain team, and it's not to put any kind of hierarchy or anything, but there's a team that came to do something specific. This is the time. So it's not the time to get overwhelmed by all the stuff that's happening. It's really a time to accept it and flow into it, because it's here. It's here. It's pouring crystal diamond coat on our head. You know, everything
Oh my
is,
gosh,
Amen.
the way that you shared that, I know for us, we really appreciate the notion of putting this in a more normal. This is our new normal for those of us that have been talking about it. We've been knowing it's coming. We've been imagining what it might look like, and we've been imagining who and what we are. It's just here. We get to be ourselves. And you know, all of these openings in terms of the communication that comes in and our direct assignments and marching orders in any given situation, just settling into each now moment, it's like it just reveals itself so perfectly. We don't have to stretch or strain. And I think that, you know, for so long, maybe because we've been trying to figure it out, it's, you know, a little bit of adjustment, just really knowing we're so acutely attuned to each moment if we stay in the moment.
yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
mentors, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, and I've been reading this almost every day during this time. He said, stay with the one and never deviate from it for a moment. To depart truth in the hour of need is to prove that you do not know the truth. The one who can throw himself into the sea of receptivity with complete abandonment is the one who will receive the greatest reward. And so here we are, we're invited to go, okay, do you believe that you are one with the almighty one power, one force, whatever you choose to call that energy, that force, that source? You know that you are that, then you're going to move mountains. You're going to walk on water. You're going to do the things that we were built as humans with divine supernal energy and access our DNA coding, access that come online and be that, not to force it, not to coerce it, not to manipulate it, not to convince anybody about it, but just be that. And that's our invitation every day, is just know that you are that, even, and you know, I quote you often, brother.
Yeah.
Be the hero, man. The human.
That's true.
Well, that's what I mean. Like your human showing. Like, oh my, I know that I'm not making fun of people, because I'm actually trying to make an intelligent point. And you know, it's not complicated anymore. And what you said is very true. It's like, relax, you know, but understand and honor that it's here.
Yeah.
Morgan, many people talked about, oh, we're going to be put to work at some point. Well, guess what? It's actually here right now. And it's moving very, very fast. So, for example, if you look at the level of personal, we call it inner work or transformation, the highs and the lows, we've had shows before. We've gone down together. We've shared, oh my God, this was like, get out of my bed, you know, like, I need to be alone, or, you know, all that stuff. But even that stuff, another thing I noticed too, is all this information's coming in. We're not having that stuff. And I'm not just talking about me and Morgan. I'm talking about what I'm observing. I see some things happening, the you know, the extremes, projections, they're momentary. People then eat their humble pie. They let their humans, oh, I was being human, that was me. But it's not an excuse. It's just what they're basically saying is that, you know, accept me for what I did.
So true. You know, this week we had, I mean, it's really been a doozy of a week for us in dealing with, we've had a couple of others leave. It seems like a lot of, we were just talking right before we got on, a lot of people are choosing to, you know, exit at this time, which, you know, really bright, amazing beings that have left an incredible legacy for us to carry on in, you know, what we all are doing together, you know, definitely a part of that ground crew. But it's interesting that this experience of COVID has really boiled all of our multiplicity down to a duality, where it's almost like the masks or the mask knots. And we've had an interesting, you know, situation this week where we have had to go to our next level of really standing in love and remembering who we are and why we're here, because our communities are, you know, we're hurling insults at each other. We're hurling our fears at each other because of how we're perceiving what this virus actually is. And on both sides, it's showing so clearly that it's a virus in our consciousness. And we just have had to go, wow, we have to just love all of it. You know, we've actually been asked to not be a part of a community as a result of a choice that we made, and
not to wear masks.
And
is that right? You were told not to be. You were told you were.
We're dangerous.
What do they call?
Yeah, and that it's a certain community.
You were excommunicated. You were damned. You were damned to eternal damnation. I'm sorry. God bless them.
Right.
I get what you're saying though.
Yeah, it's a blip on the radar. It's just a moment to really center in truth and know. And like I said in the beginning, earlier, it's like you're like, wow, okay, there's a real split happening, and where fears have already been there. We've been operating in a fear matrix in a lot of ways, where it's been infused in all the media and everything that you operate in scarcity and limitation and lack, and then it just, but this is up the game. It's just up the level. The heat is on, and it's just brought up like what's laying there, and that's what we're seeing. And that's, as we know, we work with the shadow stuff. It's like, okay, if you haven't worked with your own shadow and you're looking at the world, you're going to be in this big projection system and being triggered and charged.
But I love what you guys said about, financially, vocationally, socially, everything is like, I can see it here more than I can remember your words, but everything is aligning. Everything, it's this whole situation is the answer to the world's prayers. And I mean, from the higher level. Yes, I've known a couple of people that have lost family members. One said to me, they said it was COVID-19, but it wasn't. The other one I didn't talk to, and it seems like that's what it was. But I also know that family member had been ill. So I don't know, you see there's so much information and disinformation. You just finally go, you know what, right? But it's not to be uncompassionate towards anybody. But when are we going to step, like you said, or like Ernest Holmes, the quote, when are we going to, with full abandon, throw ourselves into the frequency of the true natural nature of who and what we are and what we're a part of? How long are we going to stand back over here and look at the movie and go, oh, and appease each other? And no, this is the time. And you know what, actually, we don't have a choice. Just like these people have roles, like Morgan downloaded about 3 or 4 weeks ago, very clearly. I was sitting right next to her, and she was told there are people leaving right now. And when they leave, they're taking a 72-mile radius of the shadow, all the shadow they can take with them. This is their contribution. This is not something that you see, but we each have a role. And for people like you and us and all the people that are watching in this community, now it's time to throw ourselves with full abandon into that frequency, into that flow, because it's absolutely reciprocating instantaneously now too. And you're seeing that. I can tell by your explanation at the top of the show.
So true.
These two brothers, I want to presence them, their essence. They did not die of COVID-19. There was no flu. There was no virus in their systems. It was sudden and quick. And these were big beings. These were big men who were doing some great work on the planet. And one of them had an organization called Zero Debris, which was about cleaning up the trash by our
ocean.
Mama Ocean and all the beaches in Manila, Tibet, Mexico, here in the United States. And he left a legacy that is continuing today. And then our other brother, Daniel, he created what's called a Brave New World. And it was a powerful production. It was a powerful idea. Music, stage, album. And so, there's a share, there's a post, there's something I want to presence these two. And I know they're on the other side. I know that they chose as a soul to build the brave new world with zero debris. cleaning out the system. And so, we're seeing a mass exodus of some really dynamic beings who are there to assist us on this plane, because this is the greatest moment in our freaking history. This is it. We are the ones. And we said, yes, let's rise and align with our brothers and sisters on the other side of the veil.
Yeah.
And I love your opening always with the merging of the two spheres. Bringing heaven to earth, bringing earth to heaven, bringing the human to the divine, and the divine to the human. And just grateful.
Yeah. And then, this has been so sudden, right? Like, I think this hit in late February, or we started hearing about it.
Right.
So you got March, April, May was a doozy. They were all a doozy, but this month has been absolutely extraordinary. And it's interesting because it's, even when I don't surf a lot, I just grab posts to put in the Soulsy group and do my work, but I notice things, you pick up the frequencies. And it's so interesting to see with what's going on with so much clarity. It's like everything is speaking louder. I do think people are moving away from judgment. I think there's judgment. There's this pendulum thing going back and forth. People might do this, might do that. I do it. We all do it. But something's going on. It's like the pendulum was doing this and now it's going like that. And it's kind of like starting to like stay in that 0 point. And it's crazy. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen here. And I mean that in the best of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
this whole situation with the community that we've been a part of, I mean, these are people that we love dearly, and we're the way that it all kind of fleshed itself out. It through the spiritual director that's a dear friend of ours that we serve with. It was a very loving conversation, knowing that it will work itself out at some point. But it's really interesting that this whole situation has given us really the opportunity to see where we still have fear. And, with our community, our mantra is love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. We're just in the process of, some of us have embodied it a little bit more than others. And I think that's just the process that we're in, because love is going to have its way regardless, and we know that is the outcome. We are the revelation of love. And so our job is to just really stand in such clarity, holding that vast space open for all to pass through the gateway of love in the process. Because we know it's not easy sometimes when love is dismantling the illusions of what we thought life was.
Yeah.
And we, coming out of the age of, where we've been talking about religion, talking about New Age spirituality, that's over.
Yeah.
The practice is life.
Yes. No more posing.
Right. Exactly.
But now, let me get this.
Go.
So you guys actually, and you handled it like you said, but I mean, you actually you actually said, no, I am not going to participate.
Yeah.
I am not going to give in to that in a community that I'm not judging that. I'm just trying to get a little backdrop to it, in a community that people are awakened or enlightened, and which means open, by the way, truly to me, being awakened, being enlightened, or ing means you are expanding. You're more open. You become more and more open to seeing that whatever that is, or that person that looks so diametrically opposite of you, and say that is me, or at least be open to it. I don't feel it yet. I don't like them, but I know that's me,
Yeah.
So to have that mentality, and you guys had to do what you had to do. You couldn't hurt your soul, right? You made and see, it's things like that affect this grid far beyond the 3D standards of measurement.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
It is. We don't really understand. I don't fully understand the work and the quantifiable measures of what happens when we do our personal work, our work in the union, which you and Morgan do, but we can see it ripple. We can see it ripple in the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's really so important. We keep going, just go back home, go to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go out there trying to control and change the furniture in the room.
Yeah.
Just get on into the heart and the body and do that work. Something I want to preface myself this last couple of weeks, I vacillated. I don't know about you guys, but I have a fear that has shown up. I fear an Orwellian draconian society where I'm being force fed a chipped vaccine that I don't want. And I'm being forced to buy food if I don't. And I'm being controlled. And there's this Gestapo that wants to come. This is the meme. This is the consciousness. This is a thing that we're seeing in the big movie. And, for me, that's what stirs up. If I want to go, I'm going to drop some truth here. I'm going to stir it up a little bit and go, look, have you seen this other side of the mask, not mask? Have you seen how much money Bill Gates has put into the WHO? Have you, whatever. And it just feeds that. And it feeds that I need to resist. I need to push against. And there it goes. What you push against, you get an automatic resistance. And so it's been an invitation to my heart, my soul to rise up, to stay in that as we talk a lot about that 0 point, that place of like, I'm not either pushing and I'm not pulling.
Yeah.
I'm just observing and I'm doing what we're here to do with love only. Love only, not mixed with some fear, but love only.
You're not complying, but you're not rebelling.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to push. Like there was a post that got stirred up. It stirred up a shitstorm in our community. And
that we didn't post.
But it was a beautiful Sunday. Last Sunday we were at Joy Cafe. We had joy with community. We're hugging and we're eating and we're.
And the place didn't even have
masks. It was just a joyful experience, and it became an item of contention, an item of fear for people that are like, "Oh my God, they're not wearing masks. They're out there in the public and." They're a danger.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's what happened.
It's perfect. And
oh no! I'm just shocked that. So you were just posting something that was just, hey, we're out having.
We didn't even post it. It wasn't our post.
It was somebody else posted about their journey with us, and it became an item of.
I you know what? Well, we're about to go to Arkansas, and Morgan. We decided Morgan's going to fly. I'm gonna go on a solo, go do the lone wolf thing in the RV. Nice. So we bought the ticket last night, and as I was reading it, I said, "Oh, you got to wear a mask." I'm sorry, I don't mean to be making jokes, but and that's really and of course to do, to fly. I mean, I would do that. I mean, you have to if you want to get on the plane. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Right.
But the whole thing about that non-compliance. Not rebelling, like to your point, if I resist it, it's just going to get bigger. At some point, we're all going to be asked to do this over and over again, which is what you two did, where you just said, I will not participate. This is like everything else. It originates in the energetic field. So you can treat the symptoms if you want to, but just like the healing Jesus did, and other great healers, it's an energetic solution. It's an energetic field. That's where the alignment occurs. We all know this in ourselves. And when that happens, physical afflictions, emotional, everything goes away. And we've seen hundreds and hundreds and thousands of examples of that in this community. I'm just amazed at what you just told me. But then again, you're in a very big city. I'm in a very big metropolitan area, one of the biggest in the world. You're very visible, okay? And there's a lot of people projecting right now because they don't want to look at their own stuff.
Right?
Yeah. Right. You know what's so funny is like nobody can argue with love. And that's what we have seen over and over, like you guys. If you hold a space of love, which is not easy at times, because honestly, when this all happened, we had waves of sorrow and grief about it because we love these people and we're uniters in this community. And it is our intention. I think actually that the announcement will be made on the broadcast tomorrow.
Sunday.
So it hasn't even, this just happened in the last few days.
So you mean this is like, I mean, because
Fresh.
I know you guys are very involved both online and locally, you know.
Yeah.
So you're talking,
Yeah.
they're
It's
going to
hot
make
off the press, Todd.
Yeah.
they're going to
it's
make
gonna
an
happen
announcement. Well, that's how big you are in that community. I mean, with the music, I'm sure, and your involvement. I just want to make that point to the audience. So that's important enough that they're actually going to have to announce this to the congregation.
Yeah. And it was funny because when we had this conversation with our dear brother, whom, you know, I would just want to reiterate, it was such a loving conversation.
Yeah.
And we've known that we're in that community to push the limits and the boundaries, because it, you know, a lot of the new thought or new age spiritual ideologies in any form are now being pushed out of those that are, you know,
I thought the mic was off.
Oh no.
My human's showing. I'm sorry.
Just a little bit.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's popping out for us to realize it's the age of talking about it, the age of us posing with our missions, like we have some important mission to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which has kept our ego in place. And I love what you said earlier on. It's like we have to become unenamored with what's happening, because as long as we're still enamored with our magical gifts or, you know, our abilities that are coming in, we're not going to rise and be able to harness the full lightning power that we need to in order to move through what is coming. And increasingly, like you said, it's coming in acceleration. It's the intensity is coming, and nothing to fear, but we just have to get, you know, our gloves on and our shovels out and just know that this is the work.
That's a fascinating point you just made. It's an absolutely fascinating point, because if you look at everybody's journey individually, you're the two of you, right? Because I know your story, and everyone's is kind of the same. At some point, we got pushed into a corner on an individual level, right? This is long before 2020, 2018, where there was a big, huge community and everybody could talk to each other.
Right.
So you were put into this, what I call the universal isolation. And at that point, you heard the guidance come in and you said, I'm doing this come hell or high water.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone says, I'm doing this. What is that saying? That's saying, hey, I'm something, you know, I am something, I am soul. And then to get to the end of the road, so to speak, and here we are, we have liberated ourselves on an individual level by saying, in the nice way, I don't care what anyone says, I'm following this. And then you get to the end of the road and it's here, and you're right. That all of a sudden, this is the paradoxical teaching of the universe. You think you got something licked, you get to the other end, and now we're going, oh, look at all this external validation that I'm starting to receive. So we've always got to stay on top of ourselves. And I don't see anything wrong, you know, with observing. And obviously we're doing that, but to even take it further and to critically observe, not other people, but what am I missing in myself? Because it's very important to stay sharp right now. We can't afford to fall into, you know, the soup of chaos. Right. And so these measures, I mean, I'm totally like, wow, you know, you guys walked the talk, and I didn't understand it at first, but now remembering talking to you and your involvement and then seeing some of the videos, I get it now. You were like one of the pillars basically in that community. Absolutely. And you said, I will not comply.
Yeah.
And this is where we're all going to,
and it's a lesson that's going to unfold in ways that we're still going to watch and unfold. And I think it's going to, I know that it's unfolding perfectly, and to allow it and not, you know, there's a grief part. There's a part like going, gosh, we have so much love to give this community and they think we're unsafe. That human part of you goes, it breaks my heart. I struggle in my own personal journey from just being misunderstood, you know, being a big guy and a big voice, and, you know, people automatically get afraid, you know, you're a guy, you're a man, you're, you know, it's like, I have so much love and so much, you know, gentleness in my soul to just give you a hug and just listen to you, and and to be misunderstood just hurts a little bit, but that being said, it's still, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of how we're sitting in this, and there is nothing but love for the community, and we'll show up and be who we are and continue to expand. We're not taking it personally. One of the 4 great laws by Don Miguel Ruiz, don't take things personally. But we have to follow our instinct and follow our conscious, the inside voice that is saying that. And
it's been so wild. I feel like our hearts have been on one level completely insulated, and because we can see higher and see what's happening. I think when it all kind of went down and we actually saw this post that the friend of ours, put out, we were like, oh, I didn't know it would happen this way. Like we could see the writing on the wall and kind of like the potentials of what it would do. And, I think we never, the higher our alignments get, if we really understood how they would come about, we would probably try and control it or navigate it, and our ego would get involved. And so when we saw it, it was like, oh, okay. All right. Well,
you handled it.
This is the moment that we have to really be what we say that we are, and not only be it begrudgingly, or like we're feeling this. We're feeling like the big mama father bear arms around this community going, we know what this is going to do, and it's good.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's, you guys, you're not even far away from the fire yet. It's still, your ass is still warm.
The fire's going to follow us.
but you're handling it. And I love what you said about the holding space thing, because that's such a great example, like on a micro level, right? That's what we're all here to do.
Exactly.
We're here to handle our little piece of the jigsaw puzzle, but overall we are locked in, arm to arm, and we're holding space for the entire earth, and that's like a little example of it. I have to read this sister's comment because it goes to what the spirit of what you guys just have done and are doing. So thank you very much, Shirley. These 2 beautiful souls took the time almost 2 years ago, when I was in a dark place, to answer me, hold me in prayer and light. They didn't know me personally at all. They are real, walking their talk. I want them to know I am doing better than ever. Came through understanding, forgiving, loving myself and humanity more than ever. So that's the powers of love, ladies and gentlemen.
Shirley,
wow,
total
my
chills.
God, just brought us to tears.
Thank you.
You don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have experienced this. You do your thing, you do your guidance, you do what you do, and you're in a little personal journey, and you click live and you go and you record and you post, and you don't know how many lives, I've heard numerous accounts of people. I had a brother who sent us, we have those extra, Heather posted recently, there's a picture of us wearing these hoodies. It's got the 1111, little infinity be here now, beautiful sweatshirts. And this brother had sent it to us. Gosh, it was about 3-4 years ago. And he goes, I want you to know, Jason, what you did changed my life, which changed my son's life. Our relationship is now better. And it's just, you don't know whose lives are impacted. And I know for me, like we go back to one of our favorite passages in the Bible. We come from the teachings of the Bible, and we've made peace with the teachings of the Bible. It's not really our mainstay.
They're written on our hearts. Can't escape
the Bible's
them.
written on all of our hearts. The teachings, the essence of what it is. And when it's talked about what love truly is, like you can talk in tongues of angels, you can understand the mysteries, you can move mountains, but if you have not love, you're nothing. And that with coming from love, speaking from love, and what is that? We're understanding what love really means. And love is where, in this unified field that we converse in, is to love the human, to love your shadow, to love it back. And as Venus right now is going in its retrograde, we're being called to to love all of it, to love those who are judging us, to love our community and go, you know what? We love you guys. We're not reacting to you. We, Father, forgive them. Mother, forgive them. They know not what they do. We stand here in nothing but love. Love only.
Yeah.
Forgive everything and remember who you are. That's the mission statement. That's the vision statement of this community. Love only. Forgive everything and remember who you are. And even in this too, we shall remain in that. And just thank you, Shirley, for
Thank you.
Thank you. That blew our hearts wide open. And
There's no coincidences.
no.
Right. So grateful to hear you're doing well and the light that you are now carrying and radiating.
Wow, people. This is good stuff, man. I didn't know I was going to be crying this early in the morning.
So
It's going to be a long day. Yeah. So like this is, a lot of people have been talking about and I mean, like in finality, not finality, because we know this all goes on, but like 2 weeks ago, last week, was it last week? The divine feminine thing. We looked at the schedule and all of a sudden we got, Judith Cassell and Laura Eisenhower and it's like, what, Amanda, there was like, and I was like, what the hell? Like Morgan's like, something's going on, something's going to happen, man. I'm like, okay. So, and there were other people talking about it. And so it was like, because we heard before, oh, she's here, she's stepping into her power. But like, this was like, it's not even game on. It's like game over,
Yeah, totally.
Somebody turned the fire hose on. Mama came out and you can't turn it on, off. And now the masculine energy is right there as it has been, she goes, he goes, right. And so it's like now there's something else occurring. And this something else is like part non-physical and part related to, like, again, the example that you gave. Perfect example, because it requires embodiment. And this is what really intrigues me, is like, what's this world going to look like? Because we talk about embodying, we can get all this stuff. It doesn't mean anything until we actually live it, see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it, right? But now, how do you affect change, which is what we all wanted? How do you contribute? We created this situation. Now we're going to go out and do things.
Yeah.
We're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're going to have to walk the talk. And I really believe that what you guys did, number one, to your point, there's an X number of people in that congregation, X number of people that will be affected by that energetic impression, this blast, this announcement, and all the stuff that goes with it. How many people are they going to talk to? How many people are going to pick up the code of transformation? And you mark my words, and you already know this, you're going to watch it evolve and change that community. And you're going to do it with your mouth shut. Yep. And that's how this stuff works. But you didn't shut your mouth. And at the, you made your statement, you did it with class, you did it with love. And this is what we're going to all be asked to do. And it's going to happen in the schools. It's going to happen in the workplace, in the families. And we're ready for it because, man, we've done this, haven't we? On a personal level. Yeah. And now we're not alone.
Yes. So, you know what's so incredible about this? And I just want to speak this out because like you said, all of us are this is the path of the Christ, the way, right? It's whatever you believe, there's a certain, there's a hero's journey that we're all on. And part of that is dying to our old self. And in that we are raised up. And what is so amazing is that this whole thing has exploded the love in our hearts. We don't feel like we're misaligned or maligned by what's happening at all. I mean, the sorrow that we feel is more love than anything else. And we are in a position to, like you said, the silence is so much more powerful because in the silence, there's no misinterpreting what's happened. There's nothing lost in communication. Nobody can argue with presence. And when the presence of love is palpable, that's what moves mountains. We have to be quiet. We have to own this. And don't you find
You were getting her all hot when you were talking. Now,
You hear that? You
now you're getting hot. Honey, I can't wait. Let's get the show over with. Let's go move some furniture. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Somebody asked, and I'm going to just repeat this real quick because there's a lot more people. There's over 110 people in here right now. So what happened was, Jason and Heather are active in their local community, in a spiritual community. They bring their music and their presence like pillars in this congregation. And there was an issue because, not an issue, but there was a situation. They chose not to wear a mask. And because they chose not to wear a mask and stay in their truth, they're no longer part of that community. So I just wanted to answer that question because two people have brought it up.
And I want to clarify, it's not that we're not part of the community. We're just not part of this private, we're still part of the leadership in a sense. Like, it's just being asked, we're not part of the celebration services, the recordings. We're deemed unsafe to be part in that studio.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, it's not that we've been excommunicated from the congregation.
Yeah,
I want to make that clear.
But we've been asked not to be there. I mean, it's
not be there recording the services.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference.
Well, this is.
I mean, it's
energetically, yes. No,
it is deemed we're unsafe to be there, and there's, you're feeling the judgments, you're feeling the perceptions, you're feeling all that. What's happening. But this is just a blip on the radar, but it is a crossroads. It is a point of, watch this unfold, congregation. Watch what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And we're going to stand here loving you, not offended, not triggered, just continuing to love you from where we are.
Funny, last night I had a dream I was just recalling this morning, and we often, when we first thing, I'm sure you guys do the same thing. When you wake up, just to compare dream notes to see.
No, I don't want to talk to. I don't want to be talked to when I wake up. And she doesn't want to be talked to either. So that's where we spend the first couple.
Just roll over.
Yeah,
but we do it all day long.
Nice. Yeah. So this morning, I kind of slept shallow last night, but I remember the only dream that I had, and it was one of those more of kind of removed picture dreams, but it was in black and white. And I don't think I've ever dreamt in black and white before, which was really interesting. But it was two trees, and there were children in these two trees, and the children in one tree had masks on, and the children in the other tree didn't have masks on. And I thought it was just so interesting, the picture of we're all being taken back to our innocence, and the crux of how this is all going to shift is going to be this or this. And the gift of the mask, or the symbol of the mask for all of us that still are processing our fears, is that it's literally brought up all the fears that need to be seen and brought into love. So then we have these kind of situations where all of this community is going to have the opportunity. They know we love. And so wherever they're struggling, it's just the opportunity for them to, to see where they don't trust. And that's okay.
And again, it's a great example if you look at it. If you look at it energetically. So this is like that congregation is like the world. The programming came in, everybody went whoa, and then you have the herd mentality, the boxes that they're familiar with. Oh, let's jump in this box, we'll be safe. And then somebody steps forward, and it's an atypical frequency. It's an atypical, especially in that type of community. And so this is, I think, what we're doing. What's happening is there's going to be and I see it already. You see it. You've got states that say open everything, and cities within the states saying we're not going to do it, or close this, or we're going to. You got all this chaos going on in the. So it's like nobody's running the show. It's chaos, which we know what that means. We know that bursts from the womb, from the abyss. So what's going to end up happening is, people are going to look around and they're going to see these pillars of light who have their mouths shut. and who are illuminating. They're going to go, hey, I want that, you know, and you've experienced this and you've seen this. So, and I totally get what Jason was saying, you know, with the literal aspects of the situation, but energy is energy. And that's what we are. And that's how you're responding. If you look at the mask, what does that say energetically? Shut up, comply. What is the gloves and the hand sanitizer? You know, fear. And then I love this one. You know, we didn't put it up because we didn't want to participate in this, but Morgan said, oh my God, the thing with the toilet paper. Like God sent a message down saying, hey, everybody, go buy a bunch of toilet paper so you can look at your own shit.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people looked at that because there was a lot of jokes about it. And it was kind of funny, but then it all stopped.
Yeah.
And I think the energetic the energetic impact of a bunch of not so much but to look at it and go, whoa, there's no toilet paper on the shelves anywhere in the world.
Right.
And we're in the middle of this, like, we don't even know what's going to happen. Everyone went to buy, like, how stupid can I be? Right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it did make us look at ourselves. So,
Yeah.
but the energy of that situation to me is like the perfect example of what we all came here to do and what time it is. And you set the bar.
Thank you, brother.
So, you know.
Yesterday was International Meditation Day, as some of you may know.
Mhm.
And there was a Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith hosted a pretty awesome video, just leaders and talking about what meditation is. And
So beautiful.
two of the takeaways for me, I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza talked about just this idea when you come into that still point, you come into that presence of love yourself. And what it does is it is the good virus. It is that infectious, just being in that radiant field. And just that's the invitation for all of us. And knowing that we do great work by loving ourself completely, not judging ourselves, and then therefore we're not going to judge those and hurl insults at the others around us. But secondly, Michael said he does this great visioning process, and he says, in this unprecedented time, this moment, what wants to come from you, what wants to radiate from you, how do you want to show up? And we look back at this time, that's what I've been future tripping in that sense, going, how did I show up in this season? How did I show up? And did we rise to the occasion? And I know that love's going to guide us through. I know it. And that's the answer every time. And that may sound simple, but it's
Thank
the
God.
most powerful answer.
Well, it is simple.
It is.
It's all simple. It doesn't mean easy. It just means it's simple.
Right.
It's not
we
like it
overcomplicated all of it. It's so funny how we often talk about like the golden path collapsing behind us and all of these things, all of these practices, all of these ways that we've done our unique brand of how we purify and get this energy cleared and come into an alignment with our body and our mind and our other bodies. It feels like more and more simplicity is really because as we're working more and the time is here, we're not in preparation stage, we're now in manifestation stage and now grounding stage. The time is, we don't have as much time to do all the other things that we did to get to this point. Now it's time to just get busy building, and doing whatever our unique posts are, which we've been so prepared. We have invested all of the hours that are necessary, and we need to trust that we're ready.
Yeah. You are, both of you, I mean, don't get me wrong, both of you, but Heather, you are like, I know why Jason wants to get you back to the, I mean, like, you are on it, but this again is a great example on a micro level of what's going on. It's energetic patterns. She has stepped fully in, and there's no more, I'm working on this. And yes, we are going to all be doing this, but something's happened. And then here's the masculine. It's just like, what is going to happen next? Like, I know something's going down. I know it because the last time we separated for 9 days, it was crazy, right? So when she brought it up last night, I'm like, yeah, you get on a plane. I'll buy the ticket right now. I'm going to buy. Oh, it's okay. I'm like, yes, because something's going on. And when he follows suit, which is happening, you know what I mean? Then there's going to be something go down. And this has always been the most powerful part of the year for me since 2009. It's been like mind blowing, you know, like divine episodes, apparitions, you know, all kinds of stuff. And since 2014, they've always gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And as individual goes, so goes the collective. So with everything happening, the way it's happening, this is like a forecast. What you've told us about that happened, that you're experiencing, is like a forecast of what's coming. And it's a great reminder. And wow, I love this.
Interesting you say that this time for years has always been this kind of experience for you, because what we're in, the energy is called Wesak or Visak. You know, if you don't understand what Wesak is out there, everybody, it's just time where in the Himalayas, where the Buddha and the Christ descend down, and the pilgrims and for years they've descended at this one area in Tibet, you know, and where so allegorically, whether that really happens or not, it's really about the Christ mind, the Christ heart and the Buddha mind coming in. And so there's a really powerful energetic download on the planet right now that we're experiencing in our own unique ways, where we get to integrate these energies in whatever ways we can. But you know, I want to speak to this place where, you know, Heather, I'm so grateful to participate. She is truly rising in her leadership, and she's doing this great program called Sing Your Soul Awake. And we're watching lives transform. And it's not about singing, it's about clearing your energetic centers and really
with
coming,
your voice.
you know, really honestly, for those that they don't even know, but they're activating their rainbow light body. They're coming full online and watching the transmissions. And this is going to be an album that's going to go out. They're about 9 to 12-minute meditations, each of the chakras, each of the colors, each of the really intentions of what's happening, and clearing the energetic field, and just watching her rise and support her in that process is such an honor. You know, and as well, you know, I saw that post from Morgan. There has been my personal journey, as one goes, so the collective goes. I put a stake in the ground for brotherhood to come into purity. You know, we're dealing with the sexual distortions, and the sexual distortions in ourselves and in our union cause distrust, guilt, shame, so much drama, karma that is churning here, churning in here, churning in here, churning in our community, and churning on the global planet. And so, you know, there's a great interview I just did. I'll be posting it today. Of just making peace with porn. You know, really the brothers, as our sisters are rising, men go into the caves, go into the tents, go into the places where you can face your shadow, you can face your demons, you can face in integrity, because what we need for the men is to come into integrity, into humility, into full transparency, so that we can be the guardians of the sacred, that sacred energy, you know,
very well put,
and not, you know, being the light worker out here and then in the closet. You know, integrating your shadows, because you don't understand what that's doing to your field and what it's doing to your relationship if you're in union. So
and I just have to just say thank you, because you really have. I mean, what you've done is, you, by putting that stake in the ground, you are opening a gateway for so many lives to be liberated and cleared. And I'm proud of you, really.
Man, you guys are about to spontaneously combust here in a minute.
You feel it. Oh,
you guys are absolutely, I'm not, no BS. I mean, you guys are, you are the new earth. This is what's happening. Here is a physical representation of the energies that are at a minimum available, that are supporting these types of initiatives. It's not just that he put a stake in the ground, or you started this series of sessions or songs. The universal energy is supporting these things. There's an unseen hand of providence working on behalf of look, it's no different than what just happened to Morgan.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing
Yeah.
to have 90 people want to inquire about doing a session when you weren't even advertising.
Right.
Wow.
You know,
Incredible.
like, you know, something's going on. We came around the 10th of February, and a beautiful sister, I met her. I came and did an interview here. I was, you know, we were hopping from one parking lot to another. We were like, you know, it was getting a little bit hectic. That's when Morgan went to Kansas City. I got to get out of here. I said, okay, go. But so I came over here and I met a friend. And before the show even started, the lady said, I want you to know something. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'd like to, you know, accommodate you. Let's work something out. Right. Anyway, so we were going to leave end of April. And then she called me and she said, she didn't even say, do you want to, you know, can you stay another month? Or she just said, I don't think you're supposed to leave yet.
Mm.
Now she's very sensitive, like you guys, like, you know, and she said, something's going on this month, right? It's something about the work that you're doing. You need to stay there. So what I'm trying to say is she was right. Something happened, and it's not, it's that fire hose of pure love consciousness that turned on, and there's just nothing in the physical world, not projection, not jealousy, not in the cabal, nothing can stop this.
Right.
And so that's what I'm seeing in both of you.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
So your initiatives are your initiative is a physical representation of the stakes being put in the ground.
Yeah.
Everybody's specialty. I
Yeah.
want to ask you about your what Heather, what you're doing, because I'm not quite sure. I get what he's doing, but now so it have to do with like voice exercises?
I'm so excited about this. Like, okay, don't you find that the things that are the most poignant work that we almost fall into backwards? We didn't mean to do that, precisely that thing. And that's what this was. And that's why I know it's, you know, it's just a stream of love coming through. So it was kind of a merge between the intuitive coaching that we do and the vocal coaching. And at some point, I really began to see how the voice has been used for thousands of years to be the healer of our own bodies. When we marry intent, specific, personal intention with these healing frequencies, and recognizing that each energetic center has colors. I mean, as we know, the rainbow is not just a symbol. It's our bodies. It's a living presence that's activated inside of us once we become acutely aware of it. And so this program is really going through all of the energetic centers and doing toning meditations, but really presencing the traumas and the stagnant energy in each center, and allowing our own voice with specific frequency to be the healer. And I've done this work now for the last year. This is the first time that I'm taking people through as a group in a program. So now it's a developed program, but I've had people everywhere from 13 to 78, 79 years old, men and women. And I am blown away every time that I do this work.
Singers.
No, this is not about being a professional singer.
No, I get it.
This is about embodying. You have to clear out all of the energy centers in order to allow what needs to come through your own voice for your specific creation to go out into the world.
No, I totally get it. And I can resonate with it, because for years, I mean, even like in my early 20s, I do it privately. Nobody can hear me. Right. And I even told Morgan this a few months ago, because I used to have seizures. I would get nauseated, then I would have these seizures. So I learned to like start toning, like making these noises. Now, I didn't know what I was pinpointing or where this issue was, and eventually I figured it out, but there was something about it. She, back 3 or 4 weeks ago, when she kind of had her COVID moment, she got all the symptoms.
I remember seeing that.
Okay. Yeah. And so she's on the bed and she is bellowing. I mean, she is like doing, and I'm like, Because I remember telling her about it. She's like, what? But she was doing the same thing. She was actually making these noises that somehow or another neutralized that fear-based, frequency or program or something. I watched it. I watched it, and I knew when she woke up, she would be fine, and she was.
This is crazy. We had it in January. You were going to say that? You want to share? I'm sorry. I could feel you. You're like,
Well, I wanted to share a moment from yesterday because we're with this group, and just this is the power of just this, like, transcends the mind, right? And so we're working on the heart chakra. We're working on the heart energy, and the heart chakra sound is ah. So we're in this, and we have a certain key, a certain frequency, and everybody's just sitting there, and we're in this, it's in the meditation, and we're just and that's it, and that's all we're doing. And then by the end of it, 7 minutes later, people are just in tears. They're just crying more than they've done in any of the other energy centers. And the heart was just blasted wide open. And it just, and people are not as, they're all different stages of their journey. They're not like all super, super duper, mystical awake beings, right?
No,
they're
it's like
in their own unique, they're at various levels. So it's not about all what they know. And they said, yes, I'm going to do it. And the hearts were just blasted wide open. So there's intelligence with your own sound and vibration. That's what I see going on in your program.
Yeah.
It's almost like an enhancement of that silence you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's not explanation and logic and, rationale. It's just, there's something about it. And I'll tell you another reason it resonated with me is because I come in here in my temporary man cave and do the shows, but I also come in here and I put the headphones on and I put some music on and I do all kinds of stuff. I do my own type of sacred language. I do tones. I do, conscious rap. I do freestyle. I do all this stuff, but it's all centered. And I'll see if I can explain this. I've located it. There's a point in that chakra or that part of my auric field. There's like a button. And you can hit that, you can get to that button and you can sustain it for longer and longer periods of time. And it is the most beautiful, healing, full of wisdom and alignment and light. It's the most incredible combination of frequencies in my own energy field, in my own essence that's the farthest I've ever gotten. And it's a combination of say a meditative type of concentration and I'd say like third eye imagery. And then of course the kicker is the tone, the resonance of the voice box, whatever that is. I think everyone has it. And it's been something I do privately. I haven't put anything out in over 2 years, but I'm going to.
Love that image you just put out there. I mean, I could see, you go into that sphere and you go boom, and just this field goes, and that's so unique to each one of us. There's no right or wrong way.
That's right.
But whatever, pushes that point, plug it in, and come online. And now you're a radiant, magnetic. Yeah. You really are a radiant, magnetic, electric, dynamic, true to the term, dynamic sphere of light, sound, geometry. That is,
It's so amazing that our bodies, the biocircuitry in our bodies, obviously we've been so not educated about it, because if everybody understood the energy centers in our bodies and how to actually activate them, we would all have a very different experience. And that's why I feel really passionate about this work, because it circumnavigates the mind. It's not mental. We go through the systems, and each one of our body centers has a different type of intelligence. And I think that's what's so amazing. You tapped into it. When you're writing a certain frequency of sound, it activates that part of your body's intelligence. And so now you're beginning to integrate all these different places of wisdom from within, and you're now full bodied, and all of your bodies begin to work in harmony and sync with each other. So you're able, this is the Antakarana, you know, we're now communicating directly with our I am presence.
What'd you call it?
The Antakarana. The rainbow bridge, right? We are understanding that we're being spoken to directly, and it's beyond that astral realm. You know, for so long we've been floating in the magical, you know, interpretations of all of it, and going straight to our presence, knowing it's all of us.
Right on.
So exciting.
Now, what about the stake you put in the ground? How is that? What does that look like today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a stake for myself personally, you know, true integrous spiritual leadership. You know, I've got a group of men, sacred circle of men that I meet with online and here locally when we can. We did before, but you know, one of my, you know, I've heard the line, your mess is your message, you know, and I've lived a wake of, you know, addiction to pornography and how lust has just kept me in a low frequency vibration, you know, guilt and shame. And so putting that stake in the ground holds me accountable to my intention to live a pure life and to honor this union and honor purity. Because I do know purity is my power. Purity is my protection. Purity is my prosperity. Purity is my peace. And so pure love, purity, not prudeness, but purity. And so just keeping that in check. So it's conversations I have brotherhood around. You know, I intentionally designed that for myself because I said a while ago that this is important. Even when Heather and I first came together, I knew I was here to help clear this energy and come into, you know, it's a sacred energy. As we know, we've had this conversation before, you know, to bring it into the container of this and keep it here. It's alchemical, it's purifying, it's powerful, it's magnetic. And so not leaking that energy and consuming out there and, you know, putting that stake in the ground is just really going, all right. And it's already affected. I can see how in the quantum realm, like Heather got a message from a dear friend just that says, I saw Jason's video Saturday of last week. I talked about this interview I was going to do with this brother, and she was blown away. It's already rippling into the collective of going, thank you. We need men to speak up.
Yes.
We need men to speak up for this. And that's the stake. It's like, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not here about, you know I'm here to step into mastery on this planet, on this timeline. And I know what it's part of my dharma. It's part of my path. It's part of my journey into the hidden caves and go into the caves of the rooms. And it's not a big, you know, it's not about being on a big stage talking about it. It's really just come into the sacred chamber and let's have a conversation and go, why are you prone to do this? Probably
it's a program, man. I mean, but it's a big one. It's a huge one. We've talked
Lisa Renee talks about it, that it's a
well, 3 out of 4 hits on the internet 10 years ago were porn. Now I don't know what the number is today, but 3 out of 4 hits is porn related. So let's not, we received a transmission. You know, I listened, she talked, which is normally how it works. And I can see it coming in, you know, and it was kind of, the message was kind of like, whatever you do, be upfront about it.
Yeah.
You know, be transparent. And now this is like a message, even though there was 2 of us, this was like a message that was an energy that was becoming available. Okay. Or an instruction or a guidepost that was being put into the field, but it's speaking to the individual. Don't act like it doesn't happen, because you're never going to transform it until you say, hey, this is my deal. This is my addiction. This is my, you know, my distraction, whatever. But this one is a big one. And,
a big one.
And I think it's affected. Well, obviously it's affected. It's a huge one. It's one of the big dominoes. And I kind of feel that, you know, like in the energy of the last few weeks, that's one of the we think a lot of times of the systems being the financial and the legal and the educational, but the systems are the distortion of sexual energy.
Yeah.
You know, the really big ones, the subservient, suppressed woman, you know, all the different stuff that's beneath the bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
But for men, I think that's a huge thing, you know. And I'll be honest with you. I'll throw a stake in the ground with you. Obviously, you know, a highly, you know, sexual man through my life, and yes, it was a big part of my life. Now, I don't know if it was a lot of porn, but there was certainly a lot of fantasizing. You know, and that wasn't self-love, by the way. It was just self-manipulation, right? But to the point where I went into celibacy, but still had the occasional loop come around. But, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say, or at least my testimony in your arena of bringing this to straight up, direct to the men, is that I can't even go there now. It's not even in other words, even if I tried, which I have, it doesn't work. It just won't work anymore. And I'm like, okay, but it will work. And so, and I think the other part of the message, at least what I can contribute, is that being cleared has brought in, has created in her being the energy of, you know, she's the physical incarnation of the energy in within me, has created in her a receptivity.
Yes.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Almost scary when it first happened.
Yeah.
But now, holy guacamole, you know, like, you want to talk about moving furniture in the bedroom. I mean, you're not even moving and it's moving. It's like telekinesis.
Totally.
That's so good.
Totally.
But I think for the men, it was release, it was stress, it was excuse. What it really was an implanted consensual, whether it was a dupe or not, a consensual situation to keep him from that, to keep him from getting to that place, or being ripe for her, being ripe for the equation of creation. And you guys have experienced it, and I'm just telling the men, anything, and I did everything you could imagine. Okay. And I hit some incredible highs that were finite, momentary, you know, nothings. But what little I've experienced in the arena of sexual power, both with my partner and in my own space, is absolutely 1 billion zillion times greater than the most incredible human sexual experiences I've ever had. And I had many things happen, and I'm not proud of any of them. I'm just trying to give you some contrast here, but it's there, man. It's there. And wow, we're not on the edge of this thing anymore, are we? We're actually in it.
We're in it.
Yeah. So Laura talks about the in her book 1111. You know, she talks about, I recorded a whole chapter about the abyss when you jump in and you go through the portal of the 1111 gateway. Yeah. And there's so many that talk about, oh, what it would be like. And we build meditation circles and visualization circles. We come to the summit and we're going to do it. We're going to jump one day. And then we just go, well, we don't know really if we take that leap, if somebody's going to die or get eaten by crocodiles, or I don't know what's going to happen. But every once in a while, then somebody comes and jumps and takes the leap. And, you know, and so we're being invited. And now she goes in that chapter, I can guarantee you on this side of the doorway, it's really good. Yeah. And I can tell you, family, it's really good to jump through that gateway and grow your wings. And we've got wings and we're flying. And, you know, and again, I say that I go back to the time wave. It's not a straight line. It's not a timeline. It's a time wave. Yeah. We're moving in this form, you know, and light and water and all that we are moves in waves, not in straight lines.
So true. It's like we're flying and grounded at the same time. You know, everything just is becoming, it's so practical. It's like, oh, it's just all so practical. You know?
That, and the other way I notice it is with the time. Like,
Yes.
how is time moving so fast, but it's moving slow?
Right.
Like it's moving so fast, but then you look at your day and like, wow, you know, I did this. I mean, you know, she's doing like 6 sessions today. You know, I did 5 shows yesterday, and you just like look back and go, whoa, you know, like, so it's weird. It's like moving really slow. Like when you get into a car accident, you know, or something happens and you just like start flying through the air.
Yeah.
Everything's like really slow, and you notice every single thing. Your sensitivities are like so acute, and then snap. You wake up like, what? I don't even know what day it is.
Happened, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's something going on with that. That almost like the axis. You know, they talk about the axis turning or the poles turning. Or, you know, almost like that. Almost like the thing spinning. It stops and starts to go the other way. Right. Here we go. Here we go. Somebody put up a Yvette Joulet's in the house, by the way. I just want to
Yvette.
We love you.
She is a hoochie mama in the best sense of the word.
She is a goddess.
Hey, I call her up. I called her up. I was in 2016. God, where's time go? And I had started this, you know, and I remember one day I was in New York City. I didn't have a penny in New York City, in the Bronx, you know, and I just got up one day and I said, I'm going to call Yvette Joulet. I need her to do something. I didn't know what it was. And I called her, and man, she went into this light language / Jamaican / spiritual. I mean, it was like 7 different languages. And man, her eyes were popping out. And I'll tell you what happened though. The next day I got the biggest donation. I wasn't even getting donations then. It was like, I got the biggest contribution, you know, it like literally saved me. So she had something. We're tight. I know she's tight with y'all, and she has a tremendous.
Oh my gosh,
totally.
we adore her.
Long time. She's connected to our one of our godpapas, Dudley.
Yeah.
Dudley.
You know, all of our family that's watching now and for the future now, it's just thank you. I just want to say this. This is coming from the core of my being. Thank you for all that you do.
Yes.
Because every one of us matter. You know, we look at it like when we were kids in kindergarten, holding the big parachute, the big rainbow colored parachute. And it's important that we all hold our peace and we lift up and we get under there and we look at each other and go, wow, look at us. We're under the rainbow. We're under it, you know, and looking at each other with wonderment. And, you know, not one of us is greater than the other. We're here in this beautiful sphere on this plane, and all of our gifts and all of our joys, and I just want to stay in that place with you all. And as we've heard it times, you know, sell your cleverness, you know, sell your cleverness, get rid of it, and just purchase bewilderment. Just be in wonderment.
Well, and this goes back to what you were saying when the first time Heather got on fire at the top of the show, and that is the whole thing about get over that wow. This is what we came for. Now, this is it. There's no more waiting. We're not on the precipice or the cusp of it. It's here. So get over the wow, get over yourself, because it is a powerful thing, because you are powerful in your process, your modality, your broadcast, whatever you do, your music, whatever you do is fucking incredible. It's genius, but get over it. And get over yourself. You're a conduit. We're all conduits. And I love that thing about getting under the blanket of the rainbow, because we're kids.
Yes.
We're children. And it's, was it serious business? That's the way we designed it. But you know what? That's the atmosphere. When you went to your grandmother's house and all your cousins were there and you made the little forts in the front room with the sheets and the pillows holding it up and the flashlights, that's it. And that's what I loved about what he just said, because that's the energy that we're being supported to return to. And I think it's happening.
Yeah.
Totally.
And the other piece is that I meant to say this earlier, because on both sides of, let's go back to the mask, no mask, just real quickly. You know, Rumi's field, we've heard this, right? Rumi's field is beyond the place of wrongdoing, right doing. There's a field. I'll meet you there. There's going to be so much to talk about beyond that. And so knowing that either side of the mask, not mask, you know, for those of you that are watching this going, I don't agree and I don't like you and you're unsafe, that's fine. Yeah. But what I know is you're coming from love.
Yep.
I know that you love yourself, you love your family, you love your grandparents, and you love those who have her immunity is suppressed. And, you know, I get it. Everyone's coming from love. And that's what I know. And so that's what unites us in our intention. And so that 0 point, that mandorla of the Vesica Pisces, that's where we choose to dwell there. And let's meet there. And celebrate our similarities and honor the differences that we have.
Yeah.
I think it's so important right now more than ever.
Yeah. And I just want to go back and remind everybody one more time. How did you get here? You were all by yourself. In those days, faith was a lonely road.
Yeah.
For many of us. And something came in, part of you came in, or whatever, God, goddess, source came in and started giving you directions. You took those directions. You defied every single person. You would have defied the whole world.
Yes.
And yet here we are together now. Let's not forget, even though we stood out like a sore thumb and that loop, that good loop, that new loop that was created in the beginning, in the origins of our individual journeys, when we broke free, when we liberated ourselves, is running again.
Yeah.
But let's remember that, you know, if you take, for example, that congregation, you've got 2, 3, 4, whatever people, minimal people that have said, I will not participate. Who are these other people going to be noticing? The typical or the atypical?
Right.
I mean, we're talking about the energy of transformation. So what is it Einstein said? You can't fix a problem with the same, you know?
Yep.
So create a new way.
Yes.
This is it. You guys are beautiful. I've never seen you like this. I got chills. I'm sweating. I got hot.
It's the best time ever.
Energy running through my body. I don't know. My masculine like wants to make with my feminine. I don't know what's happening here. I can't. I'm sweating and I'm chilled at the same time. I don't know what's going on. But you guys are getting it done. And I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
I really am. And I'm happy for us that we can actually be exposed to this energy, because you're no bullshit. You always lay it straight out. And it's so cool to see you not just balanced within yourself, but balanced as a couple. Like flowing like a, excuse my French this morning, but like a fucking solid, energetic force, like a tsunami or a waterfall. And this is awesome. And so thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. And thank you for all the work that you've done. Okay. For all these years, it wasn't in futility. It's arrived, and it's because of people like you. So, you know, I honor you, both of you.
We receive you, brother,
Thank
and we
you.
honor
We
both
love
of
you
you.
so much.
We love you both so much, and just honor everything you do. You're expanding, incredible, and I can't imagine all the conversations and all the places, dimensions, and places you go on a day-to-day basis, brother, and what you two do on the grids where you're at. So bless you both.
We feel so connected to you always. I mean, it's just
I've
beyond.
got my dragons on, by the way, just for you guys. And my dragon shirt on.
Someday.
I thought you were going to show me. I thought he was going to show me his underwear.
Hey, I'm a little salty. What?
He might.
No, I'm kidding. I thought you had dragon underwear. I was like, I want to get some of those. Hey, let me know if it's open. Let me know when you're having this men's group. I don't know if I can make it because of my schedule, but you never know unless you try. But if it's available, if it's available outside that circle, I mean, if I could come in and just at least observe and participate, I'd love to
have you, brother.
Yeah. So let me know, and if I can work it out, I'd love to be there, because I don't do enough of that stuff, and it sounds very intriguing.
And reach out to us, guys. We've got, you know, there's so much going on, you know, in now that we're in this world of we've been doing Zoom meetings for a long time before this whole thing, but you can find us at thepowersoflove.com.
Right on.
And tune in. We've got some really good things that are going to, you know, I think we shared a little bit with you. We're part of this new family called All for One. It's going to change people's lives financially and community. We're really leveling the playing field of finances, that we can all really actually be resourced. You know, I found myself actually, and I've had a journey with money. That's a whole nother conversation, another time, but money's good. Money's love. And I actually said yesterday in a conversation, we're going to make lots of money.
Yeah.
I've never said that. I've had a hard time saying that.
Yes.
Really saying that, because I had an aversion to it. It was perceived as
so much karma.
spiritual people don't love money.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
I picked up that alignment in the first thing you said. I saw that because we all had that. You know, I'm not picking on you, but I met you and we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I picked that up in the first 2 minutes when we got on.
It's
a game changer.
It's incredible. I mean, again, I'm so grateful for the ability now to see each other so clearly, because you can see what is in alignment and what's truth and what's not.
Yeah.
And you know, one last thing, we're manifesting what we've been talking about as groups for a long time. We're learning how to work in collaboration with each other in these higher frequencies. And so our vision to be able to really, our vision and our inner hearing to see beyond the perhaps conflicts or working it out is imperative, because we're learning how to do this on the earth. And you know, it's a new thing for all of us. But it's powerful. The money's flowing, family. Let's just say that the money's flowing.
Yeah, abundance is flowing.
Yes,
I like that term.
It
involves a lot more.
Perfect.
Believe me,
all of it.
Thank you.
But absolutely.
But no, because there's been, I mean, for us, it's been that way. You know, the gifting. That if you wanted to put it into monetary terms, you could. But I'm just saying it's even more than just resources and material things and money. Yeah. There's another type of there's another part of the abundance vibration, which is obviously a bunch of different types of frequencies that we're experiencing. Yes. Morgan and I, it's something else. It's not even a 3D thing. It's something else, like the thing that happened with her in these sessions, or, you know, hell, even what you just activated in this community, that is going to bring this abundance I'm talking about. It's going to make abundant what you just talked about, which is you actually see what's real and what's not. You know, back to the mask and the toilet paper. Just kidding. But hey, I love you guys. I got another show in 30, 40 minutes.
All right. Good time. Get some food.
Let me just say it's who is it? Oh, Kayla Vetter. Yeah, she's very cool. She was on once before. Hope to see you. I'm kind of looking, it looks like that we might do something in Sedona in September.
September?
Okay.
Yes. So
love to be out there in Sedona.
Yeah. Yes. For once, Soulology is going to attempt to create a gathering that's not with 2 days notice.
Keep us in the loop if we can participate and lend you some music. And
because I've always had this thing about, well, we've done it a little bit in the 2 day notice ones, but to have like a, you know, like we've done before, where you have a, you know, like say a presentation, then a musical expression and all different types, and, you know, mix it up a little bit. Yeah. So I always see y'all.
How we can help you, man.
Yeah. Y'all take care. Thank you for everything you're doing. And
you too. Thank you, guys.
I love you both.
Love you all.
Bye.
Peace out. Thank you.